Today's session is installment or part two or a four-part SOW adoption series. Today's focus is going to be on the customer journey. We're going to cover configuring the landing page and then walking through some of the typical initial record types that many customers use, such as interaction and incident records. Some housekeeping. So please use the Q&A along the way. I have many of my esteemed colleagues here on the call. We got Eric, Sam, Matt, and Paula. Most from the outbound side, but thanks, Matt, also for joining from the inbound side. He leads our problem record types and also our migration utility. So we have our experts on the call that answer your questions along the way. And this recording will be posted to the community site in about a week from now with a YouTube video if you need to share it out with any colleagues or catch up on anything you missed. Our safe harbor, many of you folks know about this. Everything we mentioned in this presentation is meant to be taken with a bit of grain of salt. There's not a ton of new forward-looking stuff in here because today's session is about your foundation and your crawl phase of the adoption journey. But in case we make any forward-looking statements, please take it with a grain of salt. They're not necessarily meant to be used for investment decision-making or purchasing of new licensing or anything of that nature. For the agenda today, we'll do a quick welcome and intro in a second here. We'll cover a recap of what SOW is about in case you're coming to the session for the first time, looking to get an idea about what it's all about, what the hype's about. We'll cover some use cases of SOW by different personas, should give you guys some implementation guidance. And then we have two demos for you, one that I'll be doing and then one Keka who will introduce in a second here. I'll be doing a foundational demo about configuring the landing page, doing the theme builder, posting an announcement for upcoming training that you can persist as a banner for your level 1-2 agents to complete. Then also be configuring the reporting dashboard, adding a new tab and showing you how easy it is to use UI Builder to configure whatever reports that you want to generate and display on that homepage. And then just to show you how to configure the quick links. And then Keka will walk you through the crawl phase, starting to implement some of the more prevalent record types in ServiceOps Workspace. And then we'll share with you some resources that we have at the end and do a final Q&A and wrap up. So to kick it off, again, for intros, my name is Dagan Patel. I am a staff outbound product manager here at ServiceNow, specializing in ServiceOps Workspace. Also well-versed in our Now Assist offering, which we showed you in the first session, the art of what's possible, how you can leverage our AI throughout the service operations workspace. Been here about 16 months now. Prior to that, I was in your shoes as a customer for 8 years of ServiceNow at a financial institution. So a lot of experience as an operator, built our service portal and built a product for automating DevOps onboarding. So I'm happy to be here to share that experience with you folks today and also the passion that I think you all bring to the table. With that, Keka, hand it over to you for an intro.
Yeah, thanks, Dion. Hi, everyone. I'm Keka Ichinose. I'm the product manager for incident risk management, interaction management, and request management inside ITSM. Been at ServiceNow for about 4.5 years now. Got started here like working in our DevOps group, so working on some of the products there, and then been kind of part of the core ITSM group here now for like over the last year and a half or so, and it's been a really great experience. Like Dagan, my previous life before ServiceNow, I was an operator like you all. I actually kind of was in the DevOps space and was kind of one of those folks that would be considered like a DevOps engineer. So coming into this space, there's a lot of there's a lot of alignment there, a lot of things that are similar. So I was really excited to get into it and be a part of it, especially in the core ITSM side. So really excited to be with you all and can't wait to show you a demo of some of the things we have later. Back to you, Dagan.
Thanks, Keka. Nice intro there. Before we get started here, folks, we just want to gauge, are you here at the right time? Are we catering to your needs in the right fashion and format? So we're going to launch a poll to get an understanding about where you are currently in your SOW journey. We launched it last time as well, but this session is a little bit different. Last time was the art of possible in an end-to-end demo and workflow. If you're newer to SOW or you're kind of getting started, to kind of help you realize and maximize your investment there with your time, your effort, your resources. This one will be officially getting started on your journey, right? What are some of the first things that we may recommend that you do? Not necessarily prescriptive, but just some guidance and some tips and tricks that we think may help you make the most out of your efforts with deploying SOW in your organizations. A lot of folks already begun deploying. I think that's actually the majority. So we have 35% deployed already, about 100 or 35 out of 100 responders. Okay. Thanks, folks, for all getting your inputs in here. Some folks, no official plans to adopt. That's perfectly fine as well. We're here to help you justify why you may want to invest in that effort. Some folks looking to mature their use. Cool. Okay. And then in the next 6 months. So about 57% of responders already begun deploying or doing in the next 6 months. So that's great. I think you all are catching the buzz. You guys are understanding that ServiceOps Workspace is a foundation for maximizing your future of innovation with AI and agentic AI, which, as you may be hearing, is the new buzzword and what most people in the industry are looking to roll out in the next 6 to 12 months. Awesome. Thank you all for chiming in the poll. We'll end that now. We'll get things moving. So thank you. I'll share the results briefly just so you can get a gauge about where your peers are in their journey. And then we'll stop sharing and move along. So as I mentioned, the first slide is going to be an overview of SOW. You can see on the screen, there's a dynamic video playing, walking you through the landing page and some of the different widgets you can put there for reporting and getting insights on your team's open work. It'll progress through and show you some of the other different aspects of service operations workspace. The idea is that the service ops workspace, some people call it a single pane of glass, some people call it a command center. It's meant to be a one-stop shop for your agents, level 1, level 2, your change managers, your major incident managers, your problem managers, to be able to do everything they need to within one workspace or command center and reduce or eliminate swivel chairing or context switching between disparate applications. Everything is now integrated and embedded within the ops workspace. And if you hadn't got to see that art of possible, we had that recording you can post in the community, I think later today or by tomorrow. It's an endless, seamless workflow. Keka is going to show you later how interactions can seamlessly connect with incidents, and then some other sophisticated capabilities there as well. You may look at showing you investigation or remedial actions framework. And then also helps build situational awareness. It has integrated and embedded communication capabilities with almost every forum, SMS, email, chat. When I say chat, Microsoft Teams, we have it integrated with Slack, WebEx, Zoom. We're trying to meet our customers with where they're at today as best as we possibly can in our roadmap if we don't already. So moving along here, we're going to get into some of the use cases. So there's 3 use cases for Service Ops Workspace. The one that many may start off with, and we're going to cover today, is a tier 1 agent only. Looking at doing things like responding to interactions, requests, maybe incidents. And then tier 2 is typically where you involve the major incident managers, change managers, problem managers, people that have a little bit more experience with the foundational elements. That'll be the second persona there. We can see ITSM, all personas are involved. And then the last one, just as you may have heard, ITS Service Ops Workspace covers ITSM, service management, and ITOM, operations management. Those two better together, build your holistic solution. It's so vast that today we're just going to be focused on ITSM and in our webinar series. But over time, we hope that you can expand your boundaries and realize more value. So for tier 1, what are some of the features that are going to be used? Of course, the Service Ops Workspace. And then as we mentioned, some of the basic record types like incident, requests, or interaction. Keep things simple initially, and then build on top of that foundation. And then you may also want to use self-service for your employees or your customers using agent chat. So if you have a service portal or an employee center, you have a virtual agent on there. It helps a lot with self-service. It can hopefully triage and deflect a lot of your basic queries that you may get. You may have knowledge articles or catalog forms that cater to the queries that can help out with those initial tier 1 responsibilities. And then some of the benefits and outcomes, of course, your largest volume of ticket types are deflected for the most part with self-service or automation or that integrated seamless workflow where you can take an interaction record and then from there go to a request, go to an incident, create an HR case, right? It's very versatile from that point, which is why we're starting there as a foundation. The multi-tab experience, a lot of people like, because if it's not in the workspace in the tabular format, then it's in your browser in the tabular format. And those tabs don't persist as they do in Service Ops Workspace. And in UI 16, you can as easily seamlessly connect different record types like incidents, interactions, and changes the way you can in Service Ops Workspace. So there's some of the benefits and outcomes. We're going to show you most of this value in the live demo, but just in the context here a little bit. So implementation best practices. These are the 4 phases that we are indicating that are part of the adoption journey. Today, we'll cover, again, foundation and crawl. Foundation, of course, is that fundamental building blocks for building your nice estate, your IT estate on top of the Service Ops Workspace. It can get very complicated and I don't want to say complicated, it's sophisticated and intricate. But today, we want to help you start small and then build bigger and better on top of that. And in the crawl phase, we'll start to introduce some of the core capabilities, as we just mentioned, the interactions, requests, incidents, maybe recommended actions for your level 1 agents if you have that set up. And if you don't know what that is, I'll just briefly mention. Effectively, recommended actions uses our machine learning to look at your historical records and then suggest the next best course of action in the current context. So if you have an incident, it'll suggest maybe previously you've created a major incident every time you had an incident with a similar metadata. Or maybe there's a problem record that's already open that you want to just link this incident as a child of that problem record because it's a known error. Same thing with a major incident. You often get an incident storm or flood, and you want to just link those incidents easily to an existing major incident. So those are some of the foundational and crawl elements in your adoption journey. Nelly, I see you have your hand raised. I'm not sure intentional or accidental, but I don't know if you're able to come off mute on this webinar format, but please use the Q&A. And if not, we'll try to get to you at the end of the session here. But please use the Q&A. We have a lot of folks on the call to help you out with your questions. And then in the foundation phase, it's a drill a little bit deeper. I think most of you in the industry have experienced this already, so it's not anything new, but just a reminder that it's not just a technology project to deploy ServiceOps Workspace. Before you actually even do that, you kind of want to make sure you have some of your ducks in a row, right? You want to make sure all your stakeholders have bought in, all their teams have bought in. You kind of combated organizational resistance. You've justified the why to migrate over. Things are more efficient. You can help have better MTTR when there's incidents, things of that nature to help your users, your agents that may be resistant to migrating. You want to get their buy-in, maybe hold webinars like this internally for your organization, right? So they can come and learn and ask questions simultaneously and then get buy-in that way. Establish governance, right? What's the policies going to be for onboarding new users, onboarding new workflows, do record types, templates for your major incidents, things of that nature. Have your governance and all that planned in your initial phases, because it can be harder to do some of these things once you're already in flight, right? So you want to get those things established. Process is documented, right? Making sure that everything you're doing outside of ServiceOps Workspace today is already documented so your architects and your developers can seamlessly and easily create that experience in SOW, whether it's UI scripts and actions that you might be using. You want to make sure all that's incorporated, your custom fields and forms, things of that nature. Process owners, we went over that one. Any integrations you may have, right? I think many customers today are using Microsoft Teams. We seamlessly integrate in our side panel from on-call scheduling setup in SOW throughout the workflow to an incident to a major incident. In that side panel, you can seamlessly contact the expert on call via chat or create a conference bridge via Teams. So considering all those integrations, another one might be Twilio, right? If you're doing SMS escalations and you want to set up a trigger rule that whenever a P2 incident occurs, it automatically contacts the person via SMS with a Twilio integration or something similar. You want to make sure you've accounted for all those integrations, right? So that you bake that all into your initial elements. Moving along. So that was effectively procedural and tactical elements to consider for your adoption journey. Now we're looking at actual products in ServiceOps Workspace. So this is, again, not prescriptive, but just a general guidance from ServiceNow and our product management team at what products and elements you might want to incorporate in the foundation and crawl phase. So I won't go through everything here, but again, the foundation phase, I will demo you configuring the landing page, doing a little bit of branding and theming. And then Keka is going to cover the crawl phase in a demo as well and show you an end-to-end flow of interactions to incident records and some other bells and whistles that exist in that phase. And then in session 3, which we're going to have in about a month from now, we're doing back-to-back weeks every month. So June, we did last week and this week, and then in July, we'll do the same thing. We'll skip the first week because it's a holiday in the States. But session 3, and Sam Rose on a call covered this on our outreach previously, kind of went through a lot of different configurations and capabilities in that walk and run phase, which stay tuned for that in the next session. And then this next slide here, I think may be very useful to customers to get like a real world example. So at Knowledge 2025, I had the privilege of presenting with one of our customers, IBM, who put this slide together to give us insights in terms of how they progressed along their adoption journey. So feel free to note this down. Again, these slides will be shared out. And these folks have been invested in ServiceNow for about 5 or 10 years. And in the past 2 to 3 years, they had a couple issues with like everything was being submitted as an incident. They weren't classified as interactions or requests or maybe problems in certain occasions. Everything was coming as an incident record. So they adopted ServiceOps Workspace. They were able to classify the record types better, get better insights and analytics, and then very quickly, actually, in a couple of years, mature their use of ServiceOps Workspace. So you've seen the crawl and the walk phase. They cover most of what we indicated for you. And then they start to get into that run phase. We're looking at some AI, problem management, agentic AI, and now assist. So with that, I think we are ready to get into some live demos. We covered some context with a slide. So again, I'm going to cover demo 1, and I'll hand to Keka to do demo 2. I'll configure the landing page, setting up a new theme, so you can kind of customize that. There's a lot of events coming up throughout the globe in the next month or two for all different cultures and backgrounds. You may want to create different themes for your agents to get a more personalized experience, or just kind of build some hype around, the workplace and those elements in those regards, right? We'll set up an announcement banner. So we'll post an announcement banner because today we all get required to do training, and it often comes in an Outlook email, and we flag it. We may miss it. Now you can post a banner announcement with a link to whatever training is required by your agents and have it persist until you've noted that they've completed it. Easy way for you to manage that. It can be used for training, it can be used for upgrades of the platform to the next family release version of ServiceNow. Anything you want, you can post as an announcement. I'll show you how easy it is to do that. And then I'll configure the landing page dashboard and show you how easy it is to do that. I'm from the world, having been a customer, where a lot of this took JavaScripting. It was very intricate and not necessarily user-friendly, but we'll show you how that's progressed since then. And then I'll hand it to Keka to go through his demo, and he'll cover the overview of that in a second. So let me switch over to my web browser. So I'm going to be using two personas. I have Beth Anglin here, and we're going to just take a quick look here. This is her landing page at the moment. You can see that there's not too much work. I think there's a different overview tab I want to show you here. Let me just check this one. Get some data in here. All right, no worries. We see that there's no data at the moment in here for Beth, but we will get a new dashboard created, copying this one, a new tab, and then also populate a custom reporting widget here. We will change the theme of this. You can see if I come up here to preferences and just give it a refresh. Oh, there we go. Theme. You can see there's just two themes here. We're going to create a brand new theme and show you how easily it is to kind of dynamically load that theme for your agents. And then I'll post a banner here for training, and then just show you how you can leverage this quick link section back there. So nothing necessarily mind-blowingly sophisticated, but it's very useful for your agents and your organization to customize your experience. So I'm going to switch from Beth, and I'm going to go to the admin. And in the admin section, let me just come back to the home page, and I'm going to start with the theme builder. So let's go to theme builder. And this is, of course, applicable to ServiceOps Workspace, but also other workspaces. You can make it a global theme that your users can select, or you can specifically lock it down to the ServiceOps Workspace. So let's create a new theme, and it takes about a minute or two. We'll just walk you through. Let's say SOW Adoption Series 2 theme. Copy that, add that in there. We'll just do a couple of simple things. We'll change the kind of look and feel of it. We'll add a new color. I'm a big fan of blue, so let's put a blue in there. That looks good. Pick that blue color, and then let's do maybe for the secondary, like some kind of gold color. These are my middle school colors here that I'm picking out here. As I remember, I think our mascot was the bees or something like that. And then we'll pick a neutral color for all the in between the major elements of the page. No other additional colors. Then we'll add a logo. This is where you can add in your own company logo, right, to replace the ServiceNow and make it feel like it's your own company instance of the ServiceNow platform. So I'll come in here and pick a basic image. Can't use any customers' names or like that. So I will pick cloud as a generic one, and we'll add that in there. And then you have the ability to change the font, throughout your instance very easily. We'll just change the sans, and then change the bordering of your different cards that are displayed and your different widgets on the dashboard. Let's make it a little more rounded. That's about it. Create a theme, and we'll see the theme here. And within the theme builder, you can also change the experience. So from the experience drop down here, we will select ServiceOps Workspace. So you just kind of get a preview how that'll look before you go ahead and publish it. So I'll select that. It's loading. And these changes auto-save here in the editor. And I'll show you next how to publish it and make it available for a user to select. I'm just taking a little bit of time there. My internet could be all the bandwidth we're using up here. But there it is. There is that cloud logo, a new blue color with some gold accents throughout the page. And next thing we want to do is go to the manager. And then we'll find that new theme, and we will publish it, making it available for users to select. So you can see it's unpublished. Come in here, publish that. It'll pop up here. And then now it's pretty much good to be able to select it. You can see web. It's available through any web platform. You can also do the same thing for mobile. But that's effectively it for a theme. Later on, we'll switch back to Beth, and we'll pick that theme for her. But while we're admin, we'll keep doing the rest of the configurations as the admin would. So for admin, the next thing that we want to do is create an announcement banner. So I have a favorite here. What you'd select is UX banner announcements, and you come in here. And then from here, I have a couple fields already just in my notepad saved to save some time. We'll create a new banner. We will say there is some new ServiceNow training required for SOW, very applicable to this call. Some new training required. You can put a little summary saying, ensure that the latest product knowledge is obtained. Let's start that at the beginning of June and end that at the end of June. So everyone's got a whole month to complete that training. For icon, there's this kind of a cool little book that I found that you can put in there, sort of like educational training. You can change the color of that announcement banner. Critical will be like if you need to post like an outage that's occurring. It is kind of like scary to see a big red banner at the top of your workspace. So we'll keep it a positive green color for the training. We'll add in a link there, and I have a link here. Copy link. There's a URL for the link, and the label is going to say ServiceNow training homepage. And the click behavior is going to open in a new tab. So they don't come out of the workspace. There'll be a new tab open for the training. You have the ability to make it non-dismissible. So if you are a team manager needing to make sure that all your employees that report to you complete training, you can click this and you can keep eyes and tabs on when people actually complete the training and not let that banner go away until they do. Right. It's a better way to keep tabs on some things like that nature. We'll not do that for now. We won't do it for all logged in users. We'll create it and we'll add it to the service desk role. So only service desk employees will see that, or people that have a part of that group. I think that's everything to configure here. Let me just double check. Yep, I think that's everything. So we're gonna save this record because we need to do one more thing, and that's add it to the unified navigation. So you know where that announcement banner gets persisted. I'm just gonna come in here. Oh, add that, submit that. And now I can submit this. And there is our new announcement banner that will be posted. And we'll see that in just a minute here. Now, the next thing I want to show you, also very useful, is configuring the landing page donuts or changing the donuts to other different data types, record types. So let me come in here. I think under favorites, I have the admin center over here open. And as FYI, folks, many of you might be seeing this and saying, my instance doesn't look like this. This new revamped admin center look and feel and layout and additional configuration capabilities was released in Yokohama. So if you're in Xanadu, you wouldn't have this yet, but definitely something to look forward to. Again, it's a new kind of intuitive, very easy to work with UI and UX as well. So we just clicked into initial configuration under landing page. We're going to come under tier 1 and hit donut configurations. And we are going to clone the out-of-the-box dashboard, duplicate it, and then we will add a new widget, add a new reporting element there. So let me come here and duplicate this. We'll call it, I got a name here, let's say high priority reports. Same thing. Create that duplicate dashboard. I think I just need to give it a refresh to load in this list. We will select that high report we just generated. We'll save that. That's going to be the new landing page default. And then after I do that, you can see it loads here. Let's go ahead and edit this. Let's add a new tab. Let's say high priority. And then under there, we'll add a new element. So let's add a data visualization, new visualization. And I believe what I want to do is a line graph. I'm going to create a time series line graph of incidents that have occurred that don't have a CI or a service map to them, right? That obviously is a part of your maintaining your CMDB integrity. So under data sources, I'm going to add data source. I'm going to search for incidents. It's incidents. And let me just find this here again. There we go. Incidents relating to neither a service nor a CI. And we have a nice time series graph. This is, of course, something that you as a admin or team manager want to keep an eye on. You want to make sure that your incidents that are coming in the queue have CIs and services mapped to them or to assignment groups to give you the best holistic picture, and then also helping out with your automation, your machine learning, because our recommended actions and then our AI search play off of these records having CIs and services populated, right? They'll help you do things like generate a service graph, right? There's a whole lot of things that come into play when you have your CMDB good quality. And we know, not knocking anybody in this call, we know most customers have a challenge with that. ServiceNow is working on solutions around that. But this is something that you can do in the meantime to kind of just help you stay on top of it. So there's that new report with a new tab, with a new data visualization. Let's go ahead and save that. And then we can exit editing mode. And I think we are good to flip over to Beth to show you some of this stuff in the agent perspective, and then move along to Keka. So let me open this window, see if I give it a refresh if it does a trick. Oh, went back to admin. Let's impersonate Beth. I'm just here in an incognito browser to hopefully negate the cache that comes into play. Looks like I think the banner, yep, there's the new banner. So there's the new training banner with the hyperlink to ServiceNow's training homepage. Very easily to link that in there. You can see in the landing page is a new dashboard for high priority reports. There's high priority, and there's that time series graph for incidents that don't have a CI or service map to them. And then also, as we did, we had changed the theme. So let's go to preferences, theme. And this didn't require me to log out or clear cache, which, as we know, sometimes the ServiceNow updates, they do require that. So let's select the new theme. We'll apply that there. You can see the new logos come into play, the new color scheme. And lastly, I wanted to show you the quick link section, which is similarly useful to the announcements banner. If your agents run books or any pertinent documentation they need to do their job day in and day out lives outside of ServiceNow, or you want to have them be able to navigate it easier, even if it's in the ServiceNow knowledge base. Let's just say, I think HTTPS servicenow.com/KB, for example, and then we can just put in here ServiceNow IT runbooks, something like that. Add that in there, and then your agents have quick links. So the idea is everything I've showed you today helps you customize, configure your instance to be more tailored to your organization's needs, and then do a couple of things that help your agents stay on top of their work with trainings, their open records that they may have, or misalignments with your CMDB, and then quick links to runbooks to help them have all the tools that they need to do their job the most efficiently within the ServiceOps Workspace Command Center. And with that, I think I'm right at time. So I think with that, I'm going to hand it over to Keka after we do a quick poll. So let me open this up. Keka, I think we had a quick poll. So Keka gave an intro. He looks after incident interaction and landing page. He had this poll question idea to get some insights in terms of what do you folks want to prioritize in your ServiceOps Workspace deployment, so that we may take that feedback internally and then prioritize a roadmap accordingly. So let me go ahead and launch that poll, and then Keka, you'll be right up after that. So let me launch this one.
Sounds good.
And launch. And I hope I got this correct, but it's supposed to be a ranking order, right? You're supposed to be able to rank, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the Zoom. Let's give that a launch. Give folks a couple of minutes to answer that. So they were doing pretty good on time. Pretty evenly. I may not have configured this poll correctly because it looks like everything's pretty even at the moment. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, actually, we're getting some variances now. All right. Looks like change is one of the leaders, followed by incident. Incident's taking the lead by far, and then we looks like request is coming in there taking the lead. Change has a pretty good disparity between the different priorities people have. Problem is also getting a lot of attention here as well. Some people are prioritizing that in the early stages. Incident 2. Thank you, folks, for all getting in there, being interactive today. Bringing the energy. Thank you for that. Looks like we're stabilizing here with the poll responses. Just give it another. Probably end it right now. Just give as much time as possible. So I'm going to end the poll and share it with you folks. Let's see. Hopefully this looks pretty good. I think the idea here is that you can see at the bottom of the screen, it's got the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you can align that with the different rows to get an idea what order people are prioritizing. As you can see, incident is the #1 priority for just about everybody here. Looks like, sorry, incidents. Yep, 25% of folks. And then interaction requests. Pretty good disparity. That's awesome. Thank you all for the input and for being here with your various different use cases. And with that, Keka, I'm going to hand it over to you to run through your demo. So let me stop sharing.
Sure.
Yep.
Yeah, thanks, Dagon. So I'm going to go ahead and jump over to the screen I've got here. I'll be using Beth Anglin too, but I'm in a different instance than Dagon. So what I'm going to try to show you here, I'll try to see if I can get this popped up on my side here, is there is my my agent here, Beth Anglin. So what we're was going to try to go through and show you here. Already I see like I'm having some issues here. So I was going to try and show a live chat coming from an end user to our agent here, since Beth is our agent. Looks like the back end on this is having an issue right now. So I will go ahead and jump into a pre-baked one I had here from earlier. This one is already closed, but I'll just kind of go through the basics because it was just to kind of show you how it all kind of worked. And then I'll be going to another demo after this that's a new feature that we just launched as a part of our May release. So in terms of what you should be getting out of this from kind of an end-to-end perspective, when you look at service operations workspace, it's kind of like the idea of being able to drive all of your outcomes. Like you saw, Digant had showed the dashboard there, and part of the notion of the dashboard coming from like a service desk agent perspective is this is where you would kind of like start your day off and take a look at, hey, what are like, incidents that are there that I need to prioritize and look at, any interactions that are coming in that I need to work. Now, most of the way you would handle interactions that would come in is through the inbox here. So you would have, whether it's chats that are coming in, or even call integrations, because we do have third-party call integrations that work through CTI technologies and things like that. So you would come in through the inbox and you'd be able to accept those chats or accept those calls, and then you would work those issues with those customers that give you a call. So in the case of this example, interaction that came in from this user, Alyssa, she had an issue with her Bluetooth not working. And so we kind of asked questions from the chat. You see this purple box here around chat summary that was done. One of the capabilities we do have working with our analysis technology is that we could take a chat that's happened from the virtual agent side that an end user has done, and right when they come to the service desk agent, we could have that already summarized for them inside of the chat and tell them, hey, this is what was already chatted about inside of the virtual agent. So they know they have like kind of a takeoff point to work from, rather than kind of just starting from scratch again all over with the customer. So that's something that can help out there. So it kind of, again, it kind of reduces the amount of time for intake from the service desk agent perspective. So then from there, they can actually go and kind of resolve the issue, figure out what's going on. Now, in the case of Alyssa here, she was complaining about not having Bluetooth working on her machine after an OS upgrade. And so what ended up happening was that the Beth ended up creating an incident, which you could do right from here. You just click create incident, and that would open up an incident record. And I'll actually just do this here to kind of show it to you here, what would happen. I mean, obviously it's already done. A couple things that do happen when you create the incident from the interaction is we go and take some of the data that was already there in the interaction to pre-populate the incident, because most of the time, the incident that's being logged as part of the interaction is just trying to carry on that communication, right? And you're going to add more details. So some of the things that you would add in here would be around, okay, now we're getting to the nuts and bolts of, hey, there's an issue happening, in this case with Alyssa's laptop or something. So we'd be able to like go into like the CI field under impact and add like her laptop or something like that in there. Now, if I was a service desk agent, I'm looking at this, okay, I'd say, okay, well, I want to get that filled in. I may not necessarily need to ask Alyssa about these things, because I can go take a look at her information here on the sidebar. On the side panel, we have assigned assets. I could even look in here and see, oh, her MacBook's right here. If I want to dig into information about it, I could actually click on it, open it up in another tab, look at some other information about it and where it's at. So that's some information that's there too. If I know that maybe for instance, maybe she had called in previously, or there might be some information that she had brought up about a previous interaction she had, we have other links here to kind of guide the service desk agent through that, to say like recent interactions that she had, and we could dive into the details there, or recent incidents that were there. So similar things that are there. Another thing to kind of call out here that kind of helps make the lives of service desk agents easier here is you see it here in the incident record within the context of this interaction. But if I was to bring up this incident separately into its own tab into the workspace, then what you would see is this origin card is here. And so why this helps is that if we pretended that Beth came into the incident by itself, there might be questions that she would have around, hey, where did this incident come from? And we could see in this case, oh, it came from this interaction. Now she could quickly go to that interaction there and take a look into it. But what we found is that kind of the salient points that would come or questions that would want to be asked is, well, what was discussed in that chat, right? What was discussed in that call, or what were the work notes from that interaction? So we've got quick links here again inside our record information side panel that she could quickly open up and just take a look here and see, oh, okay, so here's what kind of the transcript was, and kind of go back, back up and forward through this and just kind of take a look at it. Similar with the work notes, she could pull that up as well too here and take a look at it. Now, for the sake of this demo here, like my screen, the size that I'm showing you here is smaller. But if you have larger screen real estate, then you could even have both of these up at the same time, and you can pull it out and expand it and things of that nature. So all that to say that you've got information at your fingertips to be able to help you fill in and do intake on the incident, so you can work toward resolution and get that taken care of. So these are little things that kind of help out there. Yeah, those are kind of like the main bits that I could show you for this. Now I'm going to actually jump there's a new feature that we introduced. It's unfortunately not in this instance that I have here, but I will actually flip to a recording that I did of this in a separate instance. And I will try and narrate this as we go through it as well too. Sorry, just give me a quick second to flip over to it. So a new feature that we no, so a new feature we just added uh, in our mirror release was like the capability where, and I want to help you kind of understand what's going on here. So there may be times where a service desk agent is, working their queue and they've got like multiple chats that are happening. And so what would happen is they might be focusing on some other record. Like in this case, Beth, as an example, has got the incident record open, but a chat came in from a user. So you saw the tab turn purple there, and you see that number there. So the end user replied and said, "Oh, yeah, there's one chat there that's going on." So the idea is that if you could, Service Desk Agent can be focusing on multiple tasks and always know what's going on with a chat coming in from an end user, so they can address it in time. So in this particular case here, the user responded and it turned yellow now because we had a threshold where after 30 seconds of not responding to it, it'll turn yellow to let the agent know, hey, you might want to take a look and respond to this customer, because it's been about 30 seconds or so. Because what will happen then is, so we have one threshold there that will turn yellow to, hey, give them a warning. And then after about another 30 seconds by default, it will then turn red, saying like, hey, you need to address this, right? So this is a way, obviously this is something where from a customer's perspective, they feel like there's high touch with the agent that they're talking to, because that's what you want to have. You want to feel like, hey, I know what's going on. So we saw it turn red there inside of the demo there. And the agent could quickly understand, okay, oh, I need to go and respond to them, see what's going on. So in this way, service desk agents are able to kind of handle multiple interactions at a time, so they can service more customers at a time, help resolve their issues and everything in a timely manner. So that's kind of a new feature we just added inside of our May release to kind of help with that. And so, yeah, hopefully that's helpful for you all. A couple quick examples there of what can be done and kind of improve the productivity from a service desk perspective. With that, I will go ahead and hand it back over to Dagon.
Thanks, Keka. I think we're doing really good on time here. Let's see. I wonder if there's anything else we can factor in here. So we got 20 minutes left, and we're coming to the tail end of this call. Anything else you may want to show, Keka, on your side? Interaction, incident record. I mean, you're thinking about trying to like just at least give people an overview on. I'm trying to think myself as well here. Usually we got the opposite problem. We're at like right at the wire with our content and time. I think we kind of optimized it.
I mean, that's good. Yeah, I'm glad we optimized it and didn't run out of time. Um, yeah, the unfortunate part for me is wanting to show the actual inner chat interaction, but the instance I'm working with is not cooperating with that at the minute.
Okay. Let me see here. I guess one other thing I could probably show folks here is just changing like the banner, which I think some people kind of inquire about. I'll take maybe a couple minutes to do that. Let me just see if I can pull that up there, and then we'll wrap it up. And folks, please use a Q&A if there's anything that you may want to see in these phases of their journey, the foundation or crawl. Please throw it in the chat, and we'll see if we can kind of take it on. I know it's a bold statement I'm making here to try to do things on the fly, but let's see if we can incorporate anything as we have a little bit extra time here. But before I do that, let me come here and change the banner on the home page. Let me see if I can make it work here. Just taking a look here, my instance. Please let me know, Kek, if anything's coming in the chat in terms of if people want to see anything specific there.
Sure.
Back to Service Ops Workspace. And all right, I think I could probably change this. Like I said, I'm going to take a flyer here. Take a risk. I know folks are here. Let me just check the chat real quick. Struggling with landing page contains all the info we need for agents. Please elaborate on that one for us. Family Ivanda Hoven, please. I hope I said that right. When to show it, assign incident request knowledge task. All right, so to do that, I'm not sure if you missed the part in the beginning, and we have it recorded if you did, but we did show you in the earlier on phases how to change that data. And I can pull it up again here real quick. Let me share my screen again and open this. So to change the landing page data, what you would do is you'd come into the Service Operations Workspace Admin Center, and then it's broken down by tiers, so you can change what's displayed. Because for your tier one agents, they may want to see things like what you mentioned, open requests, incidents, interactions. And then for your tier two, you might want to show open changes, problems, or outages, things of that nature, right? So you can change it per different persona. But you would just come in here and click configure. And then the idea is that you would duplicate or clone one of the out of the box reports. Typically, it's the overview report here. We just save this. There's two different ones, I think, based on the persona. For some reason, the data is not displaying here. We'll look into that. But effectively, what you would do is you come in here and duplicate this, create a copy, and then you get something brand new like what I've generated here with these high priority reports. You click edit here, and then you can come in here and add new tabs for different reporting types. And then below that, add your different widgets or data elements. All right, so that is how you can customize and add anything really in the system as far as a report for your landing page. Any table that exists, we have a lot of out of the box different filter conditions like the one I showed you for displaying a time series graph of incidents that are coming in without CIs or services mapped to them, which is something definitely worth noting and having brought to your awareness, because that'll have a negative downstream impact down the road when you try to you leverage things like recommended actions or AI search or predictive intelligence, right? That depends on some of those foundational CMDB elements. So that's that one. Let me come back here into the chat, Q&A. Too much different report donuts next to each other. So then we would recommend creating tabs, right? You can create as many tabs as you need here, and then structure the different donuts accordingly. And then you can also create different dashboards entirely, right, per your needs to make it a little bit more organized. Q&A is it's going. Oh boy, okay. All right, got a lot of stuff in the Q&A. Let's see what we got there while we're on the call. A lot of those questions may help out many people on the call. Let's scroll on up. Valerie, yes, the answer is yes. You can have other different records. You can have anything pretty much. You can have problem records. I even just showed you something that doesn't necessarily pertain to the records specifically, but sort of metadata about those records, like right incidents that have foreign or what's the word, abandoned or orphaned metadata, right? Like having CI or services mapped to them. Joe Cool's got this Yokohama. Awesome. Way to be there with the latest and greatest, Joe Cool. What is the default way to link knowledge items in an incident? I'm quite new at this. Anything that you want to add there, Keka? How to link in knowledge to incidents, into records?
Sure. Yeah. Let me see if my instance has this.
There's a couple questions we got here about Juliet as well. Is there a way to make SOW search a particular knowledge base as a default? If the agent needs to search other knowledge base, they can toggle that. I believe that also answer is yes. I think you want to share your screen, Keka, on that the first one, adding like knowledge into incidents.
Yeah, so there's two ways to do that today. Let me pull one of my instances here up. So one way is through our we have our Agent Assist panel, which has been something that's been there for quite some time. And so when you pull that up, you'd be able to do a search here, and then you would see different articles and things show up here. So as an example, with this, you got this knowledge article that popped up when I put this Bluetooth not working for us upgrade. And so I can take a look into that article. Now, definitely, real estate, we've heard about these things like, man, this is like ridiculously too small. How am I supposed to like review that? So you can always like open up the article here. You can click on this little kebab menu here and go to read article. And then you could sorry, it doesn't show up here, but there's a way to basically open it to like full into a full screen, so you can take a look at it there. Or if this is something that you're aware of already, yes, or so I can just click on the link here and I can read the article here. Or if this is something you're familiar with, you would just be able to quickly attach and link this. Now we also have a newer implementation of that too, which is inside of our recommended actions and AI search panel. So I'll see if I can pull it up in a different instance here. Um, in an example incident. Let me see if I can pull it here. And this is in our newer Coral interface. So let's see. And again, this is as Digat said, we're doing this on the fly, so it may not necessarily work. Yeah, so we don't have any recommended actions in this instance here for this, but um, you would be able to search as well too here. So if I did like a search from, let's see if this we do have any data here. Okay, so there's no data for this one, but yeah. So our recommended actions panel though would be able to help you with that as well too. So yeah, so there's two ways to do that for not attaching like knowledge articles. There was also another question that came up around, hey, I've got like attachments and things like that. How would I be able to see that inside of SOW? So great question. One of the things we have here inside of the activity stream is when you have newer events that come in, you could have a stack of different events. Like if you just imagine this stream, there's not many just because it's a demo incident, but if you had way more, seeing a bunch of these in a fully expanded format might be hard, but you could quickly expand all of them if you really want to see. Like in this case, we do have an attachment here, and you could see from the paperclip icon. Also, this was an attachment, but if you want to fully expand out your activity stream, you could do that, and so you could take a look there. If you were really wanting to just say, hey, you know what, I just want to focus on the activity stream and kind of go through it, then there's a little viewing pane here on the bottom right. You would click this and it would just kind of swoop it over so that your entire view is just the activity stream and compose components. So you could put that focus there. Likewise, if you want to put focus on the record, you could go fully to the other side here and just focus on the record here and not take a look at the activity stream and everything like that. So it would reduce some confusion there for you as well. But oftentimes the default is kind of to have the activity stream showing with the form. Again, a lot of folks will have larger monitors that they could work with, so the side by side is not too much of a problem. So that's kind of a way to be able to deal with that. But again, if I go ahead and collapse this, we tried our best to be able to show you in the activity stream for things that are collapsed, like whether it's a work note, which you can see through this red pencil icon, whether, if it's an attachment, it's a blue with the paper clip here. Also, in our side panel here, we have the attachment side panel. So you would be able to quickly see here what are attachments that were added to this record, right? So you can take a look into it, and I can just kind of quickly open this up, take a look into it. I can download it from here. If it's actually an incorrect attachment, I can delete it as well. So that's a capability we have here. And also in this instance, if you did have more than one attachment here and you want to just download them all and just view them on your desktop, you could go to this kebab menu up here and go download all, and that would allow you to download all of those. Likewise, if you had like say over like 20, 30 different attachments in your use case, you can always just search as well too to find the one that you're looking for. So hopefully that answered the question around attachments and how you see it, not just in the side panel, but also inside of our activity stream as well too. Let's see, what other questions did we have here? Oh, yeah. So someone here, it looks like Amit had asked, can you show the dashboard and overview and landing page once again? Can they be available in one dropdown? So, um, yeah. So in this instance here, we see kind of like, well, there might be some other stuff installed in this instance. Let me go to a different one here. Typically, what would happen is um, you would have your kind of default dashboard that you have set up here. Like in this case, it's a tier one for this user. Now, if there were other dashboards available, you could also set those dashboards up. We've got like a couple other examples here. So you might have your tier two one here, your ITH dashboard, so on and so forth. So that's capable. You're able to do that. Um, I'll see if I can show. There's someone else had a question here around this. Let me see if I can show it here. On the dashboard itself. So what you could also do is the way you would kind of like work your dashboards is if you go to the dashboard navigation here on the left, dashboard module, it'll take you in there, and then from there you could like kind of work on it. If you got the privileges set up properly, you can make edits to the dashboard and things of that nature. So one thing I wanted to show here is I'm going to go to this tier one dashboard. See if I can show that here. And pardon me, on this instance is one that's actually not fully a polished one. It's one that's in progress for the release. So certain things might be off. Like you see the title didn't change properly. Let me just double check what's going on there, just make sure I'm editing the right thing here. As Dagon said, this is the magic, or this is the spicy stuff that happens when we try to do things live on the fly here. So I'm gonna try and edit this dashboard very quickly because there's the thing I wanted to show here was let me see if I can go here. Uh, so when I clicked on share on this kebab menu, you go to share. So what can happen here is there was a question that someone had asked around what can I just set like a dashboard for a particular role or a particular set of users and stuff like that. So when you go to share on the dashboard here, when you edit it, you can add in particular roles, particular groups, particular users for a given dashboard, so that you could basically have it set them for those specific users. So in this case, like this dashboard here, it's set for ITIL role and this SN SOW home role. So we have it set for these roles here. But yeah, you could have it set up so you can have your tier one for your tier one service desk group, and then tier two for like a tier two service desk group if you have that, something of that nature. So you are able to do that in this interface. So hopefully I was able to answer your question there. With that, we've got about 6 minutes left. I'm gonna head it back to you, Dagon.
All right, let me just wrap up the slides here, and if we have more time still, we'll go back and answer some of those questions. If not, we do extract them and download them, so we will try to get a hold of you, contact you with the answers to your questions. Or if you want to as well, please reach out to your account rep. And if you need to schedule some time with any of our product managers to dive deeper on these aspects, we're happy to do that. As we mentioned, we have a third series next week covering advanced configuration. So you saw some basic things today. Not next week, in our next session, July 9th, I believe is the date. We will have advanced configuration. We wanted to put the art of possible and basic config back to back as we feel like they kind of go hand in hand and give you folks a good jump start on your adoption journey. But yeah, let me share my screen. We have just a couple of slides for your FYI, and I think one last poll, if you folks wouldn't mind. Let me stop, end the show. Let me share this. And launch this poll. Come back here. Well, first, before the poll, folks, we have a one slider for you full of useful resources. The one on here that really I think is worth highlighting is the on-demand bootcamp. Many of us folks on this call worked on that last July. It is a free 6-hour hands-on bootcamp where you can effectively gain hands-on experience doing a lot of what we showed you today, especially with the landing page configuration. And then also what we showed you in the Art of Possible series last week with on-call and major incident management. And then we have a bunch of other useful docs here that the team has created for configuration, deployment, implementation, migration utility. And these slides will be shared on the community site after as well. So don't worry about getting them down, but just as an FYI. And then another FYI, some of the services that ServiceNow offers to help you with your journey as you may need it. We have our impact team that has capabilities of doing things like actually getting into your instance and being able to assess the current state of it and guide you through upgrading and innovating however you may desire to do. We have training and certification to get your staff and agents up to speed and making sure that they're well versed with everything. And then our expert services that can guide you similar to the way that Impact can, with some more tips and tricks and insights. Then lastly here, folks, we just wanted to get a gauge, if you wouldn't mind, folks. I think we've still got a good amount of folks on this call that joined initially. Just to understand from our perspective, we're always looking to improve this series, make it better, more useful use of your time. So please let us know, did the session actually help provide you value for your adoption journey? A lot of folks saying yes, thank you. If no, we want to hear that too. You want to hurt our feelings. A couple of folks that are unsure, which is fine. Keep coming along, please. Adoption Series 3 should be useful. And if you're in that unsure bucket and you're on Agent Workspace, definitely make sure you come to session 4, or I believe Matt Lloyd will be hosting. He's our inbound product manager for the migration utility, along with one of our outbound product managers, Paula, on the call here. So I think she'll be leading that with Matt. But thank you. Looks like majority of folks found some value out of this, folks. So really appreciate your feedback, you taking the time here to be here with us today. And we're doing on time. We have a couple minutes left. So let me just see if I can just pick out maybe one or two questions from the Q&A before we just send you off with a nice thank you for being here. Let me just hit the Q&A. Tom, I did actually intend to answer your question live. Tom asks, we have SOW ready and users are familiar with it. We want to prevent classic forms being used. We got this question, we got that knowledge at the pack day. Our VP asked the audience bluntly, like, do you want us to provide a way for you to just block people from going to UI 16? Most people seem like that's the answer, so that is in our roadmap to consider. But before we get that out there, Tom, and folks, what you can do is you can send an automatic redirect so that anybody that needs to be starting their day with ServiceOps Workspace, that landing page to get their insights and open work, you can automatically create roles and audiences to automatically redirect people that when they log into ServiceNow, they go straight to the workspace. So until we can block them from going back to UI 16, we can at least help you shepherd them to the ServiceOps Workspace initially. And how do you measure success? Julie, that's a pretty deep question. I think maybe we can cover that on session 3, or feel free to inquire with us. One of our new joiners, Eric, actually on the call, is working on something to help anybody in our shoes, outbound product managers or solution consultants, be able to help convey to customers, to convey to your stakeholders the why or the justification to measure success. So we have things in the works for that. It's coming in the next month or two. Stay tuned. Or come back to session 3 where we can hopefully address that further. So answer that live. Keka's answering one from Anthony. And I think we're at the last minute here, folks. So I think we just want to kind of wrap it up and say thank you all for being here today with us. Thank you for taking the time, showing your passion for the ServiceOps Workspace's capabilities. We know there are challenges, but we're here to help work through those with you, and make the most out of your investments, and continue growing your ServiceNow innovation. So thank you, folks, for all being here today. We have about 10 Q&A left that we'll extract offline, and we'll try to synthesize and get back to you responses with. But without further ado, and last but not least, thank you, folks, for all being here today, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you.